Drive his way, good soul. From 1 Nephi, chapter 2, starting in verse 11, Nephi is writing an abridgment of the record of his father, after the 116 pages were given to Martin Harris. And he says, concerning Lehi's naming of the valley and the river after the names of Laman and Lemuel, his first two sons in age. Nephi says, "Now this he spoke because of the stiff-neckedness of Laman and Lemuel. For behold, they did murmur in many things against their father, because he was a visionary man, and had led them out of the land of America to leave the land of their inheritance, their gold." Oh, it's Jerusalem? Oops, how did I miss that? "And their gold and their silver and their precious things to perish in wilderness. And this they said he had done because of the foolish imaginations of his heart. And thus Laman and Lemuel, being the eldest," oh, how did I know that? "did murmur against their father. And they did murmur because they knew not the dealings of that God who had created them. Neither did they believe that America and Utah, that great city, could be destroyed, according to the words of the prophet Joseph Smith." Says it right there. You can read it for yourself. "And they were like unto the Jews who were at Jerusalem, who sought to take away the life of my father." We have a date for the abomination of desolation. And there was one Mormon who made such a comment. He has a legitimate channel, sort of. He has one video, which is either a computer game or it's an apocalyptic video. I didn't bother to watch it. And then he had a lot of subscriptions that were shown. And, oh my goodness. Sleep is catching up to me. Lack of sleep is catching up to me. I woke up just after midnight, and I immediately thought, oh, I'm being prepared for Wednesday. It's a thief in the night. Cool. And so, yeah, I'm Mormon, born and raised. I still, through all of this, believe in Joseph Smith. In fact, I know a lot of the things he said is true. No, not believe, no. If you do not understand the difference between those two words, that's what the church has purposely done to you. To call a spiritual witness a physical witness. Or better than a physical witness, who needs science? We all do. Don't be dumb. You cannot breathe without science. You cannot communicate without science. It's not your spiritual witness that is keeping you alive and communicating. Well, maybe communicating because nobody understands you. And so this Mormon is in denial about Nephi giving the plates to Joseph Smith, talking about the end of the world. he says it's just history. It just happened to be that day. It could have been any day of the year. Really? Could it have been? Could it have been? Are you sure? Are you willing to bet your life on it? Apparently. But again, he's murmuring because he doesn't want to accept that Joseph Smith is true. He wants to accept that the church is true, that the history is true. There's a difference. Because if Joseph Smith is true, the church is false. Because the church is not Joseph's church. Nelson even told us. This is not the church of Joseph Smith. Yeah, certainly isn't. You created an idol god. And therein lies the problem. Is that was my concern about doing a summary video for you, for which he commented on, is because I didn't give you the full explanation in the hours-long videos that I gave you. He did not watch those. And so he then came on to the summary video to comment, nope, not true. Oh, wow, okay, you convinced me. You said it's not, therefore I'm exposed as wrong. Joseph Smith is not true. Good job. Wow, you caught me. All you had to do was say, nope. That's what Laman and Lemuel are doing here. Jerusalem's not evil. They weren't trying to kill you, Father. Jerusalem's not going to be destroyed. Oh, well, sons, I guess you know more than me, your father. So I guess we'll go back. And in the story, I mean, Mormons believe the story is history. So, yeah, using Mormon logic to deny Nephi or Lehi taking his whole family back to Jerusalem. It was just a hoax. It's just family vacation. Let's go back now. Now we got to get back to our money. Get back to your school. Get back to normal. Everything's fine. All is well in Zion. Nothing to see there. It's not going to be destroyed. Babylon won't conquer us. But you also forget the very first page, 1 Nephi chapter 1, verse 4, the first year of the reign of King Zedekiah. You don't bother to go to the Old Testament to see how he was put on the throne. Babylon conquered Jerusalem and put him on as the puppet king. And it's just amazing how Mormons just don't think and expose themselves as dumb. All so that they can protect the church. And they also do not get it that if Joseph Smith's story about talking to the dead and plates that magically disappear and for which he didn't even need to read in order to come up with the text, because remember the rock and the hat, the church now says it was a rock and a hat. He did not look at the plates. Why did he need the plates then? If he could have done it on his own without plates, he didn't even need the angel. He could have just done it with his rock and a hat. People just aren't thinking. I mean, even as a kid with the first vision, I was thinking, well, how did he see God face to face? No man can see God face to face and live. Unless he at least has the Holy Ghost, and then there's this temple thing that I have yet to go through. You know, as a kid, I knew this. There were questions I had that were not getting answered. Why aren't Mormons asking these questions? Why are Mormons instead looking dumb? To protect the church? Oh, right, the church says you can ask questions, you just can't question. Uh-huh. Gotcha. And so ex-Mormons who have been asking these questions and go, and there's something wrong here and we're not being told, so this ain't the true church, I'm out. They don't look for the real answers, but they know enough to know that they're being lied to in the current church, and they're gone. And so you get D. Michael Quinn, who tried to reconcile both sides of the ex-Mormon spectrum, and says, well, it's just witchcraft. That was what was done common at the time. Oh, Joseph's now a witch. Good job, D. Michael Quinn. You've defamed the name of Joseph Smith according to prophecy. Good job. I guess since you're dead, you're able to see him face to face, and under Mormon theology, D. Michael Quinn would be kind of ashamed right now. Oops! I guess I was wrong. Yeah. You go over there in the darkness. You don't belong here in the light. I've already pulled Emma out of the darkness and saved her. I'm not doing it for you. You familiar with that? Joseph said that if Emma went to hell, he'd go to hell to save her. And so, yes, this is what is defined: talking with the dead, disappearing plates, rocks in a hat. It's called OC cult. Occult. I have to spell it so that you can distinguish it from a cult, not a cult. I had another commenter who asked if there were anybody that had been to the hill looking for the rock box from which the plates were stored in. Gave a phonetic spelling, and but they already did. What do you think people are going to do? Yeah, I found Egyptian gold plates. Gold? You found gold? Yeah, people want to find gold. They're poor. They want gold. Joseph says he found gold that are about 6 inches by 5 inches by several inches thick. Wow, that's a lot of gold. 200 pounds worth. That's a lot of money. So yes, people went to the Hill Cumorah, dug it all up, couldn't even find the rock. There wasn't any rocks. No stone to lift up. Nothing. What's going on? Was it magically taken away by OC Cult Church? Do you not put the clues together? And so these Mormons who say something's not right, we're being lied to, the church is covering things up, we're being deceived, I'm out, they just throw up their hands and go, the whole thing's a fraud. They go to the extreme that it's a fraud. And that's what these people were doing. They were, if Joseph Smith was telling the truth and found gold, they were going to find it. Of course, Joseph Smith threw in, oh, the angel took them. With the rocks? Seriously? People just don't think. And so, yeah, there was the Kinderhook plates, where the group of guys forged plates, both forged metal and forged, as in counterfeit, with claiming that it was older than it actually was, and that contained actual writing from the ancients. And then Joseph Smith gives a translation, which we get the deathbed confession, oh yeah, we were just trying to fool Joseph Smith. So everybody now goes, oh yeah, Joseph Smith is a fraud, he's not a translator. We knew it. You missed his translation. Called him a descendant of Cain. Walking the earth. It was hilarious. And Mormons miss it. They could easily have defended this situation, but instead apologists are, trying to cover it up. Well, blah, 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 and then people, screw them. They're hurting the church. Joseph Smith was awesome. Oh man. So let's go over it. I think he even said Jaredites, but Kinderhook plates translation, and it's now Kinderhook Talrikar in Swedish. Seriously? Come on, guys. The others, BYU, represent a case study of Joseph Smith's translation ability. Smith's response. I have seen 6 plates covered with ancient blah 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 da da da. Oh, yep, there it is. Yeah, it's Pharaoh through Canaan. Canaan. Descendant of Ham has translated a portion and says they contain a history of a person whom they were found, and he was a descendant of Ham through the loins of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Do you have any idea how hilarious this is? These white guys think they're going to pull a fast one on Joseph Smith. He calls them a ham. Oh my god. Just hilarious. I don't know why Mormon apologists haven't caught on. And so I guess they're okay with witchcraft. But I've been going over with you, over and over again, the real church history. With the real history of Joseph Smith Sr., with his knowledge from the New Israelites of Jewish mysticism, which is not secret witchcraft. It means initiation, communication, speech, code. Your initiatories in the temple are mysteries, the mysteries of God, as defined in the Book of Mormon. The mysteries of God. It's even in 1 Nephi chapter 1, right there at the beginning. Having a desire to know the mysteries of God. I don't know why Mormons are not more believing and supporting of Joseph Smith. They'd rather throw him under the bus to protect this church when he's awesome. Plus, Joseph Smith Sr. was involved with Freemasonry. Well, yeah, we all know that now, Travis. But what you don't know is which one. There were different kinds. You're assuming the 33-degree Masons. And you protect them as the good guys. Because that's the one that you assume the Smiths were involved with. They were Yorkites, with the Knights Templar, the bloodline of King David, the building of Zion, New Jerusalem, in America, with Egyptian gold plates. So these things are available to us with the internet, that you can identify the crap that the church is spewing on us, see through their lies, and find the real answers. If you only but look, seek and ye shall find. And you're not even bothering to look, because you assume all is well in Zion. It's a real history. It's not witchcraft. This is real history. No, it's not witchcraft. It's real history. No, it's not witchcraft. Oh my God! And so, as a result, you're not even recognizing patterns. There are internal patterns. Do you honestly think that you can learn a subject to write a full book on without the plates just once for 4 years? One day for 4 years. That doesn't strike you as odd? Our kids don't do that kind of education. What in the world makes you think an illiterate boy is going to figure out a subject matter by just going one day of the year for 4 years? Dad called him illiterate, by the way. Everybody else says, oh, he had a 3rd grade education. Dad called him illiterate. Who are you going to believe? Apparently, those who came up with 3rd grade education. They didn't have grades back then. All kids went to the same school. But Senior called Junior illiterate in that interview. But there's a pattern there. 4 times that first night. Most of it was on the 22nd. And then 4 times, one each year, on the exact same day, the 22nd. There's a pattern there. When you do real science research, you'll look for observations and for patterns. And then you look for anomalies to the patterns in order to develop a theory, for which it needs to be testable so that you can confirm or deny the theory. And if it turns out to be wrong, such as claiming it's real history, you gotta scrap the theory and look for another one. We need the junk scientists to do this. That's why they're called junk scientists. They're pseudoscience. They use incorrect theories because they either can't be testable or nobody's bothered to test it to find out that it doesn't work. But there's also external comparative patterns. You have an angel giving a book to Joseph Smith about the end of the world. Book of Mormon. Lehi has a dream. An angel from outer space comes, gives him a book about the end of Jerusalem. John in Revelation. Angel comes, gives him a book, the 7 seals. He opens up the seals. It's the destruction of the latter days. External comparative pattern. And you're not catching on? The very book that is supposed to contain the warning about the latter days itself contains a warning about the latter days, which inside of the book talks about a man named John who's going to write a book. And in that book, called the Book of Revelation, likewise has books called scrolls, which were sealed, talking about the destruction of the latter days. And you can't see that pattern? There are other patterns in the Book of Mormon. I've been trying to go over them with you. There's an Exodus pattern. There's a record-keeping pattern. The need to keep a record of the history of the people. Then there's some other indicators of dates, times, and places that have these internal and external patterns that I just talked about. Because John has actual signs in the heaven, which are precise dates. And we can know those dates. And some of them have already happened, and some of them are about to happen. Because we're in the latter days. Because we can know through the science of astronomy. It's not complicated. We all get taught it in school, at least on a basic level. And those who want to pursue it as a career get more involved, take more of the courses that are helping them with that career path, such as calculus astronomy or physics astronomy calculus. Oh dear God. Even with my calculator, I still was getting slaughtered on that. Because I didn't take the prerequisite courses necessary. I thought I could just walk right in and figure it all out. No! But yeah, the regular stuff kept my grade at a C level. So an A for the astronomy part, F for the math. And so, yeah, it's very obvious and blunt and bold and forwarded. When somebody asks you if you're a god, you say yes. If somebody asks you or tells you that the world is going to end, you just say, oh, okay, thanks. Have a nice time. Bye. Right? Is that what you're going to say? No, you're going to ask for a date. When? Is it going to be in my lifetime? Oh, okay, it's not? Nah, never mind. Who cares? Joseph cared. The Smiths cared. They knew it wasn't going to be in their time, but they still cared. To warn us, specifically us. Not us generally. This is it. The patriarch in this stake was talking to him when I was allowed to be in church. Had heard about my going over the signs in the heavens for the total solar eclipse. And we were waiting for our wives, as I once had one once. Twice. 3 times a wife, and I know. Did I give you the... Oh, I didn't. It's Queen Bohemian Rhapsody is the opening song. Opening hymn. Forgot about that. Oops. As it's 32 minutes in and nobody's listening. And he was saying, in my day, is this not your day too? People were always claiming that such and such event was a sign of the end of the world, and it never happened, and things went on as normal. Patriarch who lays his hands on the little kids in the wards in the stake, and says, you're from the tribe of Ephraim, and you're going to go on a mission, and there's going to be everything's well, all is well in Zion, no latter days for you. You won't say it. No. And also talk about the latter days. Even my that ex, the second ex, in her patriarchal blessing, the patriarch went over incorrectly about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. And so, yes, Mormons in their patriarchal blessings are told about the latter days. And yet, Mormons are all in denial? Really? So, when the tetrad lunar eclipse occurred, you guys were the ones who followed Nelson, or, well, it was Monson back then, to say, oh, it's just a hoax. It's not the sign of the second coming at all. Not leading into a pattern of lunar eclipses with deaths of prophets of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, not any Christian church, Jewish church, or Islamic church, or Buddhist church, or Hindus, etc. Just Mormons are involved in this? That's weird. There's a pattern. Been going over that with you. I did a whole video. It was long, like this one's going to be, it looks like. Unless I can end it here quick. And so you're just making excuses to deny what is inevitable, hoping that it's going to be in some future generation. You don't have to do anything. It's your grandchildren or great-grandchildren who will have to worry about it. I mean, after all, your grandfather and your great-grandfather likewise didn't have to worry about it. So why not further into the future then? Well, you can't be Latter-day Saints forever. There comes a point in time where you have to say, you know what, I don't think we're the Latter-day Saints at all. There is no Latter Days. How many more centuries until time's up? That's what you guys are not coming to grips with. If you are going to deny Joseph is correct, deny the latter days, then you are confessing that the church isn't true. That it's all just a fraud. That latter days is just a title to get Christians' attention to join the church. To trick them into coming in. Leaving Christianity. Otherwise, you're exactly like Laman and Lemuel. Nobody's going to destroy America. Nobody's going to destroy Utah. Nobody's going to destroy the church. I say no. Therefore, I'm right. Because I said it. So I have said it. So let it be written. So let it be done. Just like I mean, seriously, guys, you're living in a fantasy. Queen warned you. It is not real, and it is not a fraud, and it is not witchcraft. It's code. That's why I said, disregard all the other stuff. Plain and simple, it's code. They tell us it's code. Why aren't you believing it's code? You know the Doctrine and Covenants was coded. The church tells us they decoded it. They missed a bunch. But if that's coded, why are they just coding that? Why did they learn code anyway? How did they learn code? Is there something else they may have coded? You know, like the history and the Book of Mormon? Oh, does that explain the patterns? Yes. I was educated in theory development for testability. This is how I did this and decoded the code. And so, yes, it's frustrating to be encountering dumb people. I'd rather see dead people. Are you listening, Bruce Willis? I'd rather see dead people. And Bruce Willis was a psychologist. If you saw the other video this morning. Again, a dig on psychology. It's awesome. A psychologist does not realize he's dead. Sorry for the spoiler alert if you hadn't seen the movie yet. I got the thumbnail.